So today I'm going to teach you how to heal a wound that is very common and that causes a lot of distress, chaos, and even physical ailments for people in their lives. And that is the wound of feeling invisible, or that specifically my pain is invisible. Now, people who feel that their pain is invisible, specifically in regards to their parents, might manifest a very serious physical illness or a mental health imbalance to, in a sense, try to get their parents' attention, try to become visible. This is very common in eating disorders, but really, like, so many illnesses are about wanting to be seen, wanting my pain to be seen. And because we live in a holographic universe, if we hold this construct in our consciousness, I'm invisible, my pain is invisible, we can manifest all kinds of situations besides illnesses. You know, obviously partners who don't acknowledge your pain, partners who blame you for everything, parents who don't acknowledge your pain. You might try to tell your parents something horrific, you know, even that you were sexually abused or raped, and they don't want to hear it. Right? Because you have this construct that you feel invisible, that your pain is invisible. And this, if you don't get it, if you don't get how to heal it, can feel almost soul-crushingly painful. This can manifest as, you know, the court system not seeing you, right? If you're immigrating to a country and, you know, you're in a process of getting a document, and it seems like other people in a similar situation are getting their documents granted, right? And you seem to be like the one that's overlooked. In a party, right? Some people who hold a construct of invisibility, if you know somebody like that, you might notice that when they walk into a room, people literally physically don't see them. They're there, but they physically don't see them. That's how strong this is. That's how strong a thought can be. We will keep going back to situations, intimate partners, friends, situations. We will keep going back to these situations to highlight to ourselves that we have this wound, right? So if you're begging someone to believe you, if you feel like you're over-explaining, justifying, defending something, highly likely that you have this wound. But the problem is you can't heal the wound by controlling the world. A lot of people say, oh, it's really important, you know, in relationship to communicate everything. And yes, that's important, but it's more important to emphasize communication if you have a wound of not speaking up. It's about breaking your fears. It's not about, okay, if I communicate enough, then that's going to heal a situation. No, you have to figure out what your wound is. If your wound is that you avoid confrontation and that you don't speak up, you need to speak up. If your wound is that you feel invisible and that you believe your pain is invisible, now here's the solution. You need to acknowledge your own pain, and you need to literally talk to God and say, I know you see me. I see my pain. I acknowledge my pain. I don't need to convince anyone that I'm in pain. I don't need anyone to validate my pain. I don't need anyone to believe what's happened to me. I know what happened to me. I know what I've experienced, and I'm going to be unconditionally present with myself. And in addition, to go on walks and talk to God. Yogananda would say, talk to God all day long. Talk to God. God, I'm in pain. Nobody sees my pain, but I know you see it. I know this is part of my soul's path. God, you know every cell in my body. You know every desire in my heart because they are your desires. You see me. I feel seen and held by you, God, and by myself, by the God within myself. I acknowledge my own pain. I acknowledge what I've been through. I don't have to defend, justify, or explain anything to anyone. But again, if you don't understand that to heal the wound, you must acknowledge yourself and acknowledge that you are known intimately by the divine, by God. If you don't heal it that way, you're going to try to heal it by doing something in the physical world, by communicating more. And if you exhaust those options, then the subconscious will manifest some illness, accident, crisis, because you haven't healed the wound, which is that you feel, your perception is that you're invisible. And yes, our perceptions are very real in the sense that they really do create our entire universe. But the good news is all you have to do is the cure for everything is union with God. The problem, the seed level of every problem is that I feel separate from God. I feel separate from God. If I feel a union with God, I know God sees me. I see myself. I know the pain I'm in. I know what I've endured. I know my soul's path. I know my experience, my direct experience. If I am at one with myself and with that larger feeling of the divine that encompasses me and that is aware of me, not only the divine in myself, but the divine that is aware of me as an individual, that is what heals the wound permanently. That's the only thing that heals the wound. Every shadow pattern that we jump into is because we don't heal that wound. A wound. Carl Jung said people go to great lengths, ridiculous lengths, to avoid facing their own soul. I wish I could show you some depictions of the shadow patterns that I've seen. I do psychic surgery with people. I do all kinds of deep healing work with people, and we get into these complicated patterns where we try to control, manipulate, seduce, and basically control our environment because we don't want to just face the actual pain that we're in, which is that my pain is invisible. If you're wondering if this is one of your big pains that is creating your reality, test the sentence, my pain is invisible. When you're feeling like raw and like you could cry, like test it, like my pain is invisible. I feel like my pain has always been invisible my whole life. If that thought makes you want to cry, that's a big wound in your life. So when this wound gets triggered, the way that you heal it is like, okay, someone's not texting you back. You feel unseen in some way. You feel unsupported in some way, whether it's in society, in your family, in relationship to your siblings, in relationship to friends that are in your life. Maybe they're really cold and they don't believe a word you say about things you've experienced. In the moment that you're triggered, I want you to close your eyes and literally de-manifest the physical world. So get rid of the world, right? Because it's all a simulation. Go into the white light and say, I know the divine sees me. I know the divine sees me. I see myself and the divine sees me. And that's all I need. I'm whole and complete. In the moment that you are triggered. A lot of people, when they try to connect with their parents after they've done a lot of healing work, they'll try to share something deep and painful with their parents, and their parents will say, I don't want to hear it. Stop it. We don't talk about those things. A lot of families have that. They're just simply unwilling to look at things. They're just unwilling basically to be uncomfortable. But also because the universe is holographic, they're just reflecting back to your construct. So the only option you have, you don't trying to explain, getting upset at them, that's trying to control the environment. The only way to heal it is, okay, the moment they dismiss you, you close your eyes, or you just go within. You go within, you dematerialize the physical world, and you say, I am seen, I am known, every cell in my body is known, every desire in my heart is known, every detail of my life is known, the whole journey of my life is known. I see myself, I acknowledge my own pain. Poof, that's all I need. I am complete. That's the only way to heal this. No amount of communication, no amount of action is going to heal this, because we have to face our souls and we have to heal everything with union with the divine. That's the only way to heal anything. So we could do energy healing, we could go to events, we can, you know, have a 5D Arcturian healing, and all of that's great too. I channel the Pleiadians channel beautiful energy. That's all very helpful, and it does create environments to help you release things for sure. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't get to the root, which is, wait a minute, I feel separate from the divine in my pain, and I'm trying to convince the world to see it. Like, if you don't get to the root of it, right, it doesn't matter how much energy work you do, it doesn't matter, because you haven't healed the core. So again, in a nutshell, we jump into patterns and reactions in our astral body and trying to get instant gratification and controlling and manipulating. We do all of that simply because we cannot stay still in the moment of a trigger. And this is a big trigger. This can be deeply disturbing. That's why people almost kill themselves trying to be seen. People almost kill themselves trying to be seen because it's so excruciating to feel like you're in pain and like nobody sees it. We go to great lengths, we destroy ourselves to try to be seen when we're feeling that we feel invisible. So we jump into those patterns because we avoid this discomfort and this pain. So the only solution is to go into the pain in the moment that it is triggered and to fill it with God. Fill it with the acknowledgement that you are seen, that you see yourself. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.